What is going on, everyone? My name is Boyd and I am back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action, spawning on the right side of the map in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Chemo. His opponent today on the left side of the map playing as Set. His name is Shelty. The map is Watering Hole, and this is the losers bracket. It's currently 1-0 for Shelty in this best of 5 series. You win this series, you go on. You lose this series and you're out. And we're seeing some very exciting Age Mythology with Shelty taking that first game very nicely over Chemo. And, well, you got to see it to believe it. Chemo is one of those players that all of the top players respect as a player. They all know that Chemo can take games off them, and they all realize that they have to bring it when they're playing him. That being said, Chemo has not had much success in tournaments, and we'll see if that comes into play here. When we talk about everybody respecting him, they respect the fact that he plays incredibly well on the ladder and really knows how to win the games and what his gods can do and what advantages he has over his opponents here. The big difference between these games, these tournament games, and the random ladder games is that the players know their maps in advance. So they can pick their gods, and I'm not sure that Chemo wanted to see the Set here. He probably was expecting Odin, which is why he picked Zeus here. Now, Zeus versus Set is not a bad matchup in any respect. Zeus is one of the strongest gods currently in the meta. There are no real counters to him, but there are lots of 50-50 skill matchups and map advantages. So, for example, Set on this map is incredibly good because you get access to all of these animals, and you can do things with the elephant and the hippo. If you convert them, grab town centers, and you have infinite amounts of hunt. And by infinite, I mean like you have a lot of safe hunt. You have so much safe hunt here. And we are seeing him go for the hyena first. He gets the hyena first just to protect his priest while he converts something else. I doubt he will convert the second hyena. He will. He'll convert the second hyena. That's fine. Chase the scout around, and then he's not going to be able to have any issue here. If I was Chemo, I'd be bolting this priest, making sure that it doesn't get any of that hunt conversion. As we're saying, the villagers get all of the hunt underneath their town centers. They can boom without having to build much military. If you can keep all the other resources safe, like your gold and your wood, then you just come out ahead because you get the safe hunt, whereas your opponent has to kind of walk to their hunt. So you just get more resources out and more advantage here. The temple's now coming up for Shelty. Looks like he's going for a very fast classical age. I like to see this. I've seen a lot of players playing Set and doing this crazy thing where they build the temple with like 3 or 4 villages because they haven't really constructed an efficient build order. Shelty grabbing this temple nice and early. He's probably going to be able to advance to that classical age at about 330 here. He's a little bit short on food. Potentially it's going to be 345. He's just a touch behind here. He's had to cancel some villages, and he's dumping the villagers into the granary. He's going to be advancing here. Probably would have been better off to just build that last villager, but what can you do? A little bit of inefficiency there. Looks like the gazelle getting hit off so far away. Some poor gazelle management there. It means he has to advance a touch later than he would have liked. But I did like that the temple went up with 1 villager. Probably could have taken villagers off the gold as well, put them onto food and get that extra 50 food he was after once he had the 100 gold. But alas, not what happens here. In Chemo, looks like he's going to be advancing fairly soon. He's going through Hermes. Hermes makes sense here because Ceasefire counters Ancestor, as opposed to against Isis, where Ancestors is not. Ancestors is kind of covered with Eclipse. Set doesn't have that. In fact, Set only has the Shifting Sands, but Set has a couple of different options to counter the Ceasefire. So he has his Shifting Sands. You can shift onto villagers in the early game. We see that Jason's out to harass, but he's not going to do all too much. He just slows down the food income. I'm expecting to see Shelty go for this town center because it kind of secures these Zebra over here. Yeah, he's going to be moving forward to that, and he's got his Pharaoh on the Fort Hunt here. So he's going to grab this town center. He should be able to get it up. There's no real chance for this. We see the shift. We see the vision going down in the base of Chemo here. This has been a fake. This is a fake that we've been seeing from set players now that set's been slightly nerfed. They don't do these attacks anymore. They used to do these shifting sands attacks, and people would, as soon as the vision went down, they would just garrison their villages into the town center while vision was up just to prevent it. But nowadays, we're not seeing that happen at all because it's just not as strong. It doesn't do as much damage. So the vision there was just a fake, and Chemo read it nicely, so no harm there. And Shelty just gets a little bit of information from that vision. Sees, okay, we've got 6 villagers on the gold, and we had 7 villages on wood. That means a fast second town center, so I don't have to build a barracks anytime soon. But I do have to deal with the heroes. This hunt is really not actually that good because the priest hasn't been converting like elephant and stuff. You kind of want to be gathering the elephant right now underneath this town center. We do see that the center gets picked off, Wadjet getting attacked by the Odysseus, and these units going to have to retreat here. This army of Shelty is not quite strong enough to deal with the 2 heroes here. It's going to be a little bit of a problem as the Wadjet does get picked off. A little bit of damage onto the Jason, and we do see that Shelty is really in need of that that stuff there. We see the shifting sands coming down. Nice ghost buildings here, and Chemo, well, not really nice ghost buildings. I tell a lie. Chemo gets out of there with the Odysseus. The Jason, on the other hand, is going to get picked off. Some poor micro from Chemo. Should have been retreating that guy there, and that does allow Shelty a little bit more time here. Oh. It's so annoying right here. These units do not heal very fast if they're acting, so you kind of have to hit Q on one of them and then you get to full HP and go very, very fast. But Odysseus is back into the mix here, going to be targeting down the priest. Manages to keep that guy alive, and the Odysseus is going to be getting out of here. And these Zebra all going to get gathered, and he can move over onto the elephant when he so chooses. More priests coming out for Shelty now. I'm Shelty. I'm trying to convert all of these elephant if I can, and maybe even some Zebra over here, and just stealing as much stuff as I possibly can. So utilizing that ceasefire just to give himself a little bit of breathing room onto these Zebra. Jason's back out, and now we're seeing the same thing happening. More of this pressure coming in, but yeah, Shelty's going to have to get off this. He can now move over onto this granary. I think he could actually draw this elephant into the town center here if he just got one villager to target it, bring it in. But he's building the granary out here. A little bit inefficient. Oh no, he's doing it. He's doing it right. Here we go. Bringing the elephant in. Oh, it gets dragged back. It's going to be fine. The heroes have to kind of walk all the way around here to not get taken out by the town center. So this is a really nice elephant in any regard. We see the armory coming up for Shelty now. Going to be doing all that good stuff. And Chemo's got his stable and archery range going. Still hunting quite nicely. 2 town centers. Both players 2 town centers. And it's just going to come down to who can kind of boom the most and making sure that Chemo can access this 3rd town center. It doesn't give it away to Shelty. If he can do that, get to the late game, Zeus, he should be able to take this game. But Shelty's got some advantages in the heroic age, so we're going to have to see him do some damage. We are seeing Chemo's going to make his way around, avoiding the town center fire, looking to attack this location here. The elephant's just about to get eaten, and he's going to have to move on to this one. So this is a nice timing here for Chemo to prevent this elephant from getting grabbed. As we're seeing the villagers go for it, the army of Chemo is moving in. Oh, the Pharaoh's going to get picked off. Yes, the Pharaoh gets picked off. The villagers get pulled back. And now Shelty can move back over onto the Zebra, I guess. That's nice. That's nice. That's what you want to see. You could potentially still drag this elephant in. I think if you put a villager here and shot him, then you can drag him in. But that's nice for Shelty. He falls a little bit behind on the income there. We do see that Nephthys is coming through just because he has to move his villagers, but it's not the biggest deal. He gets to finish off the Zebra. You can come over onto this elephant if you wanted to. We do see the 3rd town center for Chemo coming up. So Chemo opting, instead of chasing the fast attacking Egyptian player, is going to go for that 3rd town center and try and skip the heroic age. That tends to be the option for Zeus players. When you're facing 2 town center fast heroic from Egyptian, you go 3 town centers, a semi-fast mythic age. and you try and get some sort of underworld attack with the Colossus and the superior Greek army, getting your Egyptian army out of position, and utilize ceasefire as well to steal a town center or something like that. We do see the Migdol stronghold now coming up for Shelty, but it's under fire. It looks like this is not going to go up at all. This is a really poor position here for Shelty, and he doesn't have his Pharaoh to help out either. That's really nice from Chemo here, preventing that. Now Shelty had to gets a little bit discouraged, puts the Migdol stronghold back. He does have a really nice gold mine here, one wall over here with this location here. It's really nice for him to grab that gold mine, and he's gonna have to start pumping out that military. We do see 2 more military buildings coming down for Chemo, because Chemo realizes he has to get to 145 population in order to compete with Shelty. We do see that the Migdol stronghold is just about up. And he's going to start pumping out those chariot archers, it looks like. Let's check his economy. Yeah, he's got so much resources in the bank. He could even skip. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him chuck down a market and skip to the mythic age here and start. I mean, something we don't see very often is Phoenix spam. We don't have the monuments to do it here for Shelty, but against Greek, a classical age Greek going 3 town centers, Phoenix spams are really, really good, because the only real option to defeat the Phoenix is the Odysseus. And if you have more than one Phoenix, Odysseus can only target one. You can micro it around and pick them off with chariot archers, pick off the Odysseus with the chariot archers. But we are seeing Shelty going for the siege towers, the chariot archers, and double siege workshop here. Looks like he really wants to pump those out. He can do a lot of damage here because he does have access to the superior chariot archers over the Toxotes, or Toxotes. Toxotes. I never know. I always stuff it up. It's fine. But you can see Shelty is abusing this. He's moving in. He's trying to deal some damage. He's not actually managed to pick off anything, but he's done quite a bit of HP damage here. He's going to be searching for some villages to pick off. It would be a really good idea to get some raids in here. But the Hippocon kind of counter the chariot raids pretty heavily. If the Hippocon can get on top of the chariot archers, they can't really escape, and there are enough here to chase them around. We can see the bolt comes down onto the Scorpion Man here. We got siege towers pumping, we got chariot archers pumping, and we are seeing Shelty is getting supply blocked here. He's at 130 population, which is why he can chuck up this 3rd town center if he wanted. And then he's going to make a move in here. He cannot cast Ancestors though, because that's what Chemo kind of wants, because he's gone to 3 town centers. We may have to see a ceasefire cast like early though, because I don't feel like this army here from Chemo is quite enough to deal with the Egyptian army, at least until he's got medium cavalry upgrades and he's got 145 population here. And we do see that the army is getting picked off as it's being produced. You never want to have that. More military buildings going up, but military buildings coming down from the siege towers. So Shelty making a move in here, and Chemo does not have much of an answer. He's going to have to use the villagers to pick off the siege towers and everything else, and that's kind of going to be difficult for him because of all the chariot archers. And Shelty's got some decent micro, so we'll see if he can pull that off or not. We do see the chariot archers trying to take out those Toxotes, and there we go, doing the damage. The villagers get pulled off the line. I like that he's pulled the villagers off the line while he's engaging the chariot archers. That forces the siege towers back and does not allow the chariot archers to take these villagers out. And we are seeing that they are on top of the Hippocon. Hippocon are on top of the chariot archers. They're trying to micro them around, going to pick off those siege towers nice and fast, but they get replaced instantly. So you are losing a couple of units here. So it's just all trades right now that kind of go in favor of Shelty. We'll see if he can keep this up. Got a lot of idle villagers here. 3rd town center now coming up, so he's going to have that extra population. And I'd like to see another. Well, I prefer not to see the barracks. I would have liked to see a 2nd Migdol stronghold going up right about here. Give himself a retreat option, and then also start pumping out Elephant or War Elephant here, because he can get out the War Elephant. He can tank those Toxotes, and do some real damage. If you're just spamming out chariot archers and siege towers, you don't give yourself much. And this Migdol stronghold's really far forward, and I don't think Chemo's going to want to retreat here at this point. But we do have the heavy chariots coming out, which is going to allow these to do quite a bit. We've got some spearmen coming out. The spearmen are on top of the Toxotes. You want them on top of the Hippocon. And we do see Horus has come in. I did not notice the early Horus. 2 town center Egyptian gets to that mythic age incredibly fast. 1350 there. Incredibly good. And he's going to be able to use that Horus on top of this. Force the ceasefire ceasefire potentially, and then the Ancestors are going to come in. There's the Tornado coming down with the Mercenary Cavalry. Does scout that one out. That's going to take the town center down. And then we probably will see a ceasefire here if that is the case. And Chemo not close. Or is Chemo going to that next stage? Yeah, he's going through Hibolo. That's cool. That's totally cool. We do see that Chemo going to be retreating here. And there we go. You can see Chemo in the Heroic Age to Apollo. And the archery range going to be coming down right now. And he's tanking all of these Toxotes fires here in the back. The village is moving forward. You can even see the Ancestors come down as a ceasefire just to grab this 4th town center for himself. Got the Avenger out as well. All of these Spearmen doing great things. The village is getting pulled off here, but they may run through all of these villages here. And the villages come down. They're going to be doing that one. And ceasefire does come down, which is kind of what we expected. Seems like a little bit delayed though. Kind of want to do that as soon as the town center goes down, get back up, and not fight on the less town centers. Are we seeing that Chemo can get to the Mythic Age though? He's close. He needs some gold in the bank. He's looking like he's trying to do that. Probably going to go through Hera just to relieve some of that pressure, especially because Spearmen are going to be getting built. The Spearmen are starting to get those medium upgrades. Generally speaking, you don't want to start building the Spearmen until you have heavy upgrades, basically, and we do see heavy Spearmen are coming out. He has built a couple of them, but it hasn't been too many, and it's not like he's throwing away resources. Just because the Toxotes pick them off so fast until they have like more HP, they're kind of not really useful. Even the Hippocon kind of beat them one-on-one, and it's like, well, they're kind of wasting resources, even though they do a little bit of damage. We see the Monument to the Soldiers getting thrown up as if Shelty is ISIS or something. Really early Ancestors there. He uses this one early so that he can get the Ancestors popping out instead of having them all popped out early instead of getting one by one getting killed off. So it's not like he's wasted a couple of seconds there. He just wanted them to pop out so he can tank all of this damage. With the Champion Chariot coming out, the Siege Towers moving forward, taking down the archery range, going to be taking down the town center as well fairly soon. The Spearmen moving in, all of this army of Chemo in the back, doing not very much. 121 population to 145 population. Avenger poking away at this wall over here, going to be moving on to the gold mines very soon. The villagers getting pulled off the wood line here. Going to be trying to take down these siege towers, but there's just too many siege towers, so it looks like this town center will be falling very, very soon. Mercenary Cavalry swarming in at this point, and this town center looks like it will go down. And here we go. It's down, and Chemo is out of luck right now. Do we see Hera coming through? Hera is just about to come through, but he's got no army here. And these Chariot Archers, the army of Shelty will probably die here to the Lightning Storm, but Chemo has no army himself, so the Lightning Storm will come down, all of these units will die, and then he'll, well, you can garrison some of these Spearmen into the Siege Towers or something like that, but Chemo doesn't have the population to fight back here. Shelty drops down to like 120 population or something, but Chemo's at 100 population without the town center, and there we go. The Lightning Storm is not a saving god power here for Chemo, just because he lost so much to that Ancestors push because you had to use ceasefire there, and now Shelty can just move forward and take out what Chemo has, and Chemo taps out. GG. Well played by Shelty. An absolute clinic of why Set wins this map so hard here. I mean, I feel like Chemo could have played a touch better here, like gotten out the medium Hippocon upgrades a little bit earlier, utilized his army while this army was getting built up. He was sitting back a little bit. You kind of have a little bit of advantage earlier in the Heroic Age. Do some attacking while he's massing units, force him to be sitting back in his base. You don't want to fight here, but if he's sitting out here, you kind of want to fight. But you know, earlier ceasefire after the tornado comes down. As soon as the town center goes down, ceasefire, get it back up. Potentially you could build some towers or something as well while to defend the Ancestors. Swarm the siege towers while the Ancestors is here instead of back here, but the Ancestors wouldn't have been as much of an issue if he wasn't losing units while he was trying to get the town center back up or something like that. But it is a toughie for anybody to take a game of Set on this map, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Well played by Shelty. They're going up 2-0 in this best of 5 series. He may be able to take this one very, very soon. Like, if he wins one more game, he's on to the next round. Chemo's got some work to do here if he wants to stay alive in this tournament. Hey, thank you so much for watching. My name is Boyd, and I will see you guys next time.